Accessories are the new busted thing? This is a good banner. I like this banner. We're going to get into it. All of these units have very clear use cases, though, and let's talk about them individually. First up with Timerra. And, I mean, we all love Timerra. This is very much like what her original form was. And so, anyway, we'll look at the skill. This is the melee frontliner with the option to omni-tank. We have Desert Spear, we have Slang, DC, Bulwark 4, which is good. I think Bulwark 4 right now is excellent, especially with, if you think about all of the Felixes running around like crazy. This helps this a ton. So, Bulwark 4 is very good. Then we have, if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units. Omni equals 5 plus 15% of units' defense at start of combat and neutralizes foes' bonuses, which are both very good during combat. And also, when foes' attack triggers foes' special, reduces damage from foes' attack by 10 during combat. So we've got the flat damage reduction, we've got tons of stats, we've got lots of true damage, we've got Bulwark. This is a very good preference weapon. And we have Sandstorm. Boost damage by 80% of units' defense. And calculates damage using 150% of units' defense instead of the value of units' attack when special triggers. This unit's going to hit hard. I mean, that's basically what they're saying here. Reduces damage from attack by % equals 40 minus current special cooldown count value times 10 during combat. We've talked about this. So we have the flat DR in the weapon. We have the % DR in the special. These are a very good combination. This next part is the interesting thing, and I'm going to skip all of this. Essentially, this is making it easier to outspeed a unit, and that is critical now. We have re-entered the speed meta, in case you haven't noticed. And stuff like this, like Frost, for instance. Frost was a very underrated skill that Reginn gave out, and that really helped a ton of units be able to outspeed. This is going to help Timerra do that, and we have such speedy nukes coming at her, Felix and the like, that this is going to really be nice on her. We have Speed Defense Finish 4, which I'll be honest, I didn't realize we didn't have. And past that, we have Lagoo's Friend 4, which is still the skill. It is an excellent, excellent B skill, and you guys know it, you love it. Breath of Life 4, excellent. And then Time Pulse Echo. So this is Time's Pulse 4, only it doesn't have the possessive. It's no longer times, it's just Time Pulse Echo. This is a very, very good attuned skill. There are so many units that want this, and you're going to be able to stack a lot of great things. Just remember, this is most likely, and I'm 99% sure on this, this is most likely infantry units. But if you want to look at everything you can give a unit from this one, it's really good. This is an excellent infantry frontliner and excellent fodder. That is a great combination. This is a good unit. If we're looking at where she ranks, you gotta understand, this is getting into a weird area. And as a pure Omni tank, I'm not sure she has the res stat to make it tier 1, but you add in the fact that melee frontliners are so important right now, and the fact that magic damage has not gone away, but it's less of a priority. You pair this unit up with Fjorm, and it's nice things happen. That's just the way it's gonna go. So I like this unit a lot as a tank. I don't have a specific tier list for melee frontliners, but I still think she has value in that tier 1 range. It is interesting to me that all of these are attuned units. That is not lost on me at all. The level of attuned infantry units has been very high lately. I don't think she hits the Ike level, but I don't think anyone is surprised at that. The fact is that this unit has a lot of value in Summoner Duels and also in, well, Summoner Duels, particularly if you talk about pairing her with Soren, I think she's going to be a lot of fun. If you talk about in Aether Raids, I think you're pairing her more with Fjorm. There's just a lot of fun things that this unit can do. Next up, we have Fogado, and this is an interesting unit because I'm not sure how good he is out of his intended use case. And we're going to go over the weapon, but first see the craziness that this unit is going to have, where a green comes in and can't proc her AoE because Sentinel Bow. This has slang, effective against flyers. If unit initiates combat or foe's range equals 2, foe cannot trigger specials during combat or area of effect specials. This is specifically targeting Shield Fighter and Fjorm. The question is that good enough? And as a counter meta pick, I think this is excellent, but I'm curious how he does against other units. I mean, obviously, if you go up against someone like Ike, he's not going to be able to kill you back because he can't proc his special. So is this a unit that you put Fatal Smoke 4 on or some other kind of thing? There are a lot of options that you can use on this unit. I question the longevity if he's just targeted at Fjorm. We'll have to get him in testing though. I want to know if he's good against everyone, but we totally forgot to describe the rest of the weapon. If unit initiates combat or foe's range equals 2, grants bonus to units. Omni equals 5 plus 15 of unit speed at start of combat, reduces the percent of foe's non-special. So this is the 50% piercing thing. We have full no follow-up, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 70% during combat, which we have so much piercing that this is almost meaningless, and unit's next attack deals damage equals total damage reduced by foe's first attack. Resets at end of turn. And I want to go back at something I just said because that is partially true. The 70% reduction, the thing that makes that so good on this unit in particular is because there are units that rely on their specials to get piercing. That makes this percent damage reduction more meaningful than it would on another unit. But this is really fascinating. Essentially, this is ranged Lucia, and that makes, I think on this unit, there is a possibility that this is a very, very good nuke. I question the damage output, and that is the only thing we'll have to see, but I don't think this unit puts out enough damage. Again, these things get very convoluted, and we'll have to check on that, but we'll get there. We also have Flared Sparrow, which is still good, and we finally have SD Far Trace 4, but that's it here. And like I said, this unit could use for a kit overhaul. I will say that Ike isn't as dominant as he once was, so I just keep that in mind. And I'm not saying Ike isn't everywhere and Ike isn't amazing, but we've hit the peak of Ike and we're starting on the downward slope with a lot of different kinds of units. This unit, what I'm saying is this unit may not be terrible because he can't deal with Ike. We've gotten other things, but this is a great counter pick to any of the Fjorms that you're seeing coming at you. As far as the tier list, this is a pretty good ranking. Like tier 1 is pretty good right now, but I understand my concern here is that he falls off quickly. If he is really banking on countering one unit, then that is not something that has much longevity. If this is something that we see has enough damage to kill other things, then obviously the value goes up there. We have Merrin. I'm so excited about this. I love Merrin. Merrin is amazing, and this is interesting. I am a little worried this may be the Crom we have at home, but she has a lot of great stuff. You saw there just a second ago, she was a self-refresher, which is that always has value. Now we have slang, and here's a self-refreshing. If a rally or movement assist skill is used by unit or targets unit, grants, reduces the percentage of foe's non-special, so this is the 50% piercing, which is good, and bonus doubler. So those are two excellent effects. If rally or movement assist skill is used by unit, grants another action to unit once per turn. It's excellent. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units. Omni equals 5 plus number of allies within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit times 3. Most of the time that's going to equal 14. As we've seen, we get full no follow-up and reduces damage from foe's first attack by number of bonus effects active on unit. This is flat DR, by the way, excluding stat bonuses. ×3 during combat, max of 15. 15 is pretty good for flat DR. Let's see, that is excluding area of effects, but does include brave hits. You can see what this unit is meant to be. This is another unit that definitely has survivability on her mind. But again, I question the amount of damage output that you're going to see. And what that really means is you're going to have more of that secondary initiator vibe. And I am not sure that she really stands up to Chrom. That's not amazing. Speed Defense Link, we've seen these before. These are great skills, but I was really hoping for a little more on this unit. Past that, we have Even Attack Wave in, and I like these skills a lot. This is one of my... I like this one less compared to the others. This is just not one of my favorites. So this is still very good, and on her is probably excellent. It helps again with that damage output that we were just talking about, but I would have liked a little more. If we look at the tier list here for her, we're going to see I have her in tier 2, and this is Support Heroes. I think that this unit in modes like Summoner Duels is going to be a lot of fun. I would have liked to seen a little more like Chrom, where she's able to steal bonuses or something to that effect. It's not a knock, and we don't want every unit to be just absolutely bonkers. I just wanted Merrin to be bonkers because I like Merrin a lot. Still, being a self-refresher is very good and holds value for a long time. So if you want to make this a merge project for Arena, that's something that's excellent. Or, use her in Summoner Duels, or even in something like Aether Raid's offense, where you are helping out older units by giving them piercing. That's a very good thing to have. And keep in mind, if it's mid-turn, then it doesn't get turned off quite as easily, depending on how the opposing team works. Then we have the headliner, Reginn. A new hero type, aided hero, has arrived. For one thing, I love the art. We've seen a ton on Twitter, but this is an excellent artwork here. I really, really enjoy it. This unit is going to hit hard and a lot. We have Diverger Wayfinder, and I want to get into this. I do have a bit of a cheat sheet. I can do these ones beforehand. It takes a little bit too much time for the 15 minutes that I have to look at this banner to get everything done. But this is Slaying. You have Canto Distant +2, max of 5, which is a lot of Canto. You have an Omni +X. X equals 3 times allies in 3 rows and 3 columns +5. You have True Damage equals 20% of the speed. You have 40% DR. You have Piercing. All good. Now, for allies within 3 rows and 3 columns, and here's where things get interesting because these are supportive capabilities, you get Attack Speed +4, which to be honest is just okay. And then you get Special Jumping. That is very handy and nice, but I am not ranking this unit as a support hero because I don't think in the current meta that's enough. This is a very good thing to have as well as the other things that you're using. That's really what it comes down to. But I mean, this can be something that can be either counteracting a lot of the crazy Hush Spectrum shenanigans that are going on right now, or can help your units proc their specials, which is good. With Sather Burst, things get a little more interesting though, and this is what we didn't see in the Tempest Trials. You'll notice in the Tempest Trial, she basically hit like a wet noodle. It really wasn't great, but she's really designed on working with this special. This boosts damage by 50% of unit speed and calculates damage, so we have adaptive damage there. And on turn 1 through 4, you get grant special cooldown count -2 to unit before unit's first attack and before unit's follow-up attack. If unit or foe special is ready or triggered before or during this combat, reduces damage from foe's next attack by 40%, and that's unpierceable because it's in the special. Summoners, that means that she's going to hit Sather Burst every single hit, barring Scowl shenanigans, which very well might exist. But I'm a fan of this. This means this unit is going to hit very, very hard and just be a special spamming nightmare. As far as the other stuff on this unit, Attack Speed Excel, I mean, have we talked enough about how great this is? Flow Guard 4, I think on this unit, this is going to be excellent. And in particular, if you're going up against any sort of Ike, that's really what this is looking at here. And then we have Shadow Shift 4, which might be the most interesting skill in this entire thing. We need to know a little bit more about this, like who it can be on, but you notice the gold border means this is inheritable. When Canto triggers, enables unit to use reposition on ally. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants Omni +3 to unit during combat and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. That is really interesting, and essentially this is giving you just another action. That's pretty neat. Because this has to do with Canto, I'm gonna guess this is definitely cavalry. I want to know if it's also flyer though. This is something that can really help mobility and help for hit and run teams in both Summoner Duels and in Aether Raids. This is a fascinating deal though, and they've really been pushing hit and run styles of teams. So this is interesting. I want to see how it's used more. The question is this just a neat skill, or is this something that is going to change the way units play? I am leaning towards neat, but I'm a big fan of neat. So there are a lot of things that this could possibly lead to. We have reached the point with melee nukes that we're starting to rank them on more than just their nuking ability. That's just the way it has to be because there are so many hybrid units. All of these, first and foremost, I think are best as melee nukes though. I mean, you even look at Alphonse. I think Alphonse is great as a hit and sit unit and not really a just sit unit. So anyway, Reginn, I think, ranks in that tier 1 range. I think both Sharena and Alphonse do things that she doesn't, but I still think this unit is going to hit very hard. I am going to theorize that this unit can probably do pretty well versus most shield fighter near saves as long as she gets her double off. That is a lot of special damage coming at these units. So that's something to keep in mind. I like this unit though. I think this is a lot of fun. We haven't gotten to her special thing yet, so we'll hit that in just a second, but you can see kind of where this pans out. Like, pure nukes just don't exist anymore. They have to be able to do more than just hit hard. All of these units do that, and I think Reginn is in that tier 1 range. I'm gonna let this roll, and we're gonna talk about something here. This unit is just about to go up against Hathrin. Understand, when you see something like this, it means that this is what IS is trying to design this unit towards. It doesn't necessarily mean that in the way we build Hathrin, this unit is going to beat her, but this is what they're trying to go to. Now, does that beat Lagoo's Friend 4? Probably not, but it's something to keep in mind that that's what IS thinks this unit can do. Now we're going to get to Aid's essence, and this is fascinating, but more pretty than anything else. You notice you've used an Aid on Alphonse, and now what can you do with him? You get extra stats and a little drone that follows you around. Okay. As a competitive player, this means next to nothing. I think it gives you +1 to attack speed, defense, and res. But that's okay. I think these are really neat to have on units, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to be able to have something that customizes a unit, which people love. This is a very neat accessory to have. So you have that, you're able to customize them, but it doesn't absolutely break the game. It's more of a bragging thing. We've seen this used in many, many different games, particularly first-person shooters love this sort of thing. And so I don't think this is a bad deal. I would like to see them expand this. I would love to see them have these that you can earn, but we'll see what they do with those as we go. But again, overall, I like this. This is, again, not something that absolutely breaks the game, but is still neat for the player base to be able to take their favorite units and make them look pretty. That's pretty much what they are. Past that, I want to mention one other thing, and that's the fact that you can spark twice on this banner. I want to mention this specifically because none of these are units that you need to have. We're not at that point. These are not must-pull units. Keep that in mind and make sure you are spending wisely because we have so much power creep to deal with. Speaking of power creep, if you're interested in seeing how the current Brave units measure up to all of the previous ones, I have that in video form. Go check it out there. Members, you are amazing. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.